This one's for Sarah, of course, but I figure I may as well throw it out to the rest of you. I recently had the experience of having someone I deeply care about read The Little Prince, the book by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, in translation, of course, but still, very good version. And she was incredibly saddened by it. Now, this is a normal reaction from anyone who's read this book for the first time, because, of course, the ending is very, very sad. And so I assumed, of course, that she was just, taking the normal reaction, and I coached her on how to just approach this by saying, you just have to read it again and again and again, which I have, of course, done, and it just gets better. Mainly because, well, you just get to know the story a little more, and you see, how things work themselves out. It's not that really a story, in my opinion. But then she says, well, it's not so much the story that's sad, it's how it made her look at her own life. Now, of course, I'm thinking to myself, I know for a fact that this book has changed my life, so there's absolutely no reason why it shouldn't have had the same effect on her. And it just blew my mind. Well, of course it's going to do this, but the reason she said it is because she was incredibly disappointed in the choices that she had made in life, because she realized, well, she had been grown up far too early in her own life. I guess she sees opportunities she's botched, and, well, just things that have gone by. And she thinks now that she had been looking at them the wrong way the entire time. And that's really too bad. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I mean, yes, you can look back on your life and see things probably a lot more clearly now than what you did then. Everyone has that. But I don't know, I don't think anyone should be ashamed of the way they live their life, mainly because everyone lives their life just the way they know how, the best way they can, knowing what they do at the time. But I suppose just to wrap it up, the main thing is the little prince has got this power to make everyone make themselves think that they are in the audience. Nobody reads this book thinking, okay, I'm the people that are being laughed at in this book, as opposed to, the people that are doing the laughing, which are, I suppose, in the framework of that story. The kids, the children, the people that are young at heart. Nobody wants to be the adult. Nobody thinks they're the adult. So that's, I guess, my point. If you have a person, like Sarah, who was so thoroughly convinced that she was an adult, especially during her youth, it was really kind of special that she would have that reaction. Nobody else does. Or at least I don't think anyone else does. I know I didn't, but then again, I'm totally full of myself. I'm really glad she read it. I thought I probably should make an attempt, anyway, to clarify my opinion of The Little Prince as a story itself, rather than as a way to make other people react. Because really it's something I've had a very good chance to react to. I've read it both in French and in, I believe, the earlier English translation. I'm pretty sure there's a more recent one, which is unfortunate because the first English translation had the black and white illustrations as opposed to the new translation, which has the color illustrations. It's much better. But I suppose my reaction has always been that, of course, I want to be one of the people who gets it. If you get... Oh, I'm sorry. In a tribute to Calvin and Hobbes, you should never make quotation mark gestures. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. No, the say? Yeah, no one has the reaction of being... Oh, jeepers, hang on. Yeah, sorry, as I was saying, in The Little Prince, I want to be one of the ones who gets it. I want to be the child. I want to be, well, in essence, the prince himself. I believe that's the reaction of everyone, although I suppose there's just as many people who would like to be the pilot. I suppose that's, you know, also just a natural reaction. You associate with the character you think is probably, you know, the most appealing or closer in your personality type. Although I have to admit, on first reading The Little Prince, I did think of myself more as the pilot than anything else. I did want to be, you know, kind of the observer, the one who becomes slowly drawn into this world. Although, perhaps on more sober reflection, I'm heading towards being more of a fox than I am a prince. I don't know, maybe I'm getting just a little bit, reading too much into it. But the reason why this book is so special is because you're never quite sure when you're reading it what it's about. You only get that impression after you finish. I can well imagine most people expect, upon their first reading of this book, that somehow the pilot and the prince, you know, establish some relationship and then go off together and, you know, exit the desert and live happily ever after. It is a happily ever after sort of book. At least on the on the surface. And like I say, the first time you read it, before you've read the end, obviously.